Thank you for staying tuned in to MSK Detroit on Urban Nation Radio. We are here live every Wednesday. Hashtag on Wednesdays we wear pink. I got my t-shirt on. The one day Daisha doesn't wear hers, I got mine on.
I wore my shirt like 3 weeks in a row.
That's what I said. The one day she don't wear hers, I got mine on.
I decided to let it rest for a minute.
This is not her shirt.
Try to
this is my
shrink
shirt,
back to its natural state. Because, I probably stretched it out.
It's okay. It's
after the holidays.
It's more comfortable that way.
It is. It's so comfortable. Let me know if you want one too. You can order yours at info@MSK Detroit. No, they can't. MSKDetroit@gmail.com. Have you been drinking? I wish it was Wine Down Wednesdays, but I got to be serious and talk about these schools. I can't do that when I'm inebriated. So, I had to think about the kids.
Right, because somebody's
gotta. Clearly, nobody cares. Nobody cares about the $1.7 billion in debt that they are. $1.3 billion of that is unfunded retiree benefits and hundreds of other obligations. They cut off their dental plan today. I mean, so not only do you want teachers to be unhappy, you want them to have dirty mouths, no orbit gum. They didn't pay. Then how can the county not pay, the district not pay for their dental coverage? You taking it out my check, I'm sure. So how did we get cut off?
Why don't we ask them?
Right, $1.7 billion in debt, $1.3 billion in unfunded retiree benefits. You cut off my dental. We don't have any books.
You done froze the pay tiers. So I've been working here for 10 years and still getting paid the exact same thing from when I first started working.
You mean
here.
I don't get a raise? You mean to tell me that I can't even get a quarter extra per hour?
And then I call in sick and you look at me weird?
As if it's okay to come to a classroom where people are going to be standing in front of me and I might happen to be contagious. I mean, at what point is that okay?
Let's just think about, maybe I'm sick because you got black mold and it's cold in here.
Achoo! Because you sneeze from mold, right? Some people can be. Achoo.
Yes, because I'm allergic to it. But let's just talk about how it's poisoning people. Not only that, but then you got schools that don't have no toilet tissue.
How can I wipe my patootie if it's no tissue?
Right, it's holes in the ceilings.
Yeah.
Right? You wouldn't, because I'm pretty sure all the people are like, oh, well, they just need to figure out better ways. None of their kids are in Detroit public schools.
It's always the ones on the outside looking in with plenty of opinions and no solutions.
Almost definitely.
Your opinions are not solutions. Completely different. But you want your coins, though. You want your money.
So when you're that far removed away from the problem, it's easy to say what people should be doing.
Absolutely.
It's so easy to say. When you don't have to walk in that building every day with a whole bunch of kids that's freezing, it's so easy to say, well, that's your job.
It's not your kids that have to put 3 and 4 layers on just, and you not shivering in class.
Why aren't you doing well? Because
I can't concentrate because I'm cold. My toes is cold. And I'm hungry. School is not a substitute for at-home parenting, food at home, and it's just not. It's not a babysitter.
I will say that the public school system is supposed to provide those things for children who would not otherwise have them because they can't afford to go pay for it. But it should also be a safe and clean environment.
Absolutely.
So don't just give me some bullshit because it's free.
Hello.
Because that's essentially what you're saying. If you sitting back and saying, oh well, it's publicly funded, it's public school, they don't need to be warm.
So because I'm in the public schools, I don't deserve a chance at fair living, working, schooling conditions? Is that what you're saying?
Because they still gotta use books that got your name in it?
Because my mom decided to buy that house in Corktown. In a developed area that I have to,
this is
go
what
to public school.
They'll say, oh, well, you know what? If you don't like it, then take your child to a private school. Then what about one of those, magnet schools or charter schools? Send them there.
Shout out to Whitney Young Magnet Middle School. They don't make them like that no more. It's not even open anymore.
It's not. It's just all Duffield now.
It's just like, what? I remember we had new windows and everything. We weren't cold.
No, we weren't.
Boys was being able to drink 2 and 3 milks and juices from lunch. They didn't have to just get one. You gonna eat your pizza? You didn't get that often because people was able to eat. when we was in school.
Yes.
I chose to eat Flaming Hot Cheetos every day. But that's neither here nor there.
It was one of the few that served breakfast when we was kids.
I was never that early, but I remember.
Well, thanks to Aretha.
He was always late, but
say thanks to Aretha who had to make it to the
times
tech center.
Definitely have changed, and I don't even feel like we're that far removed from that time. It hasn't been that long, but it has
though, because I've walked into schools and I've been like, now wait a minute now.
Yeah.
Wait a minute now. When you had got the metal detectors in the middle schools and elementary schools, now wait a minute now.
What done happened?
Now you can pay for this metal detector, but y'all ain't got no heat. The babies is freezing, but you want to pat them down first.
I mean, that is a concern too. Safety is also as well a concern because everybody's in jeopardy.
But if everybody in jeopardy with it being cold.
True.
You talking about little fingers falling off.
Trying to pull a trigger. That's just dangerous. That's just dangerous.
But if we were implementing certain things, that wouldn't even be a real concern.
I totally understand.
And we've just lost sight of what's important. Well, or maybe we haven't lost sight. Maybe we've just gotten complacent because that's just DPS. You know DPS. DPS.
I think it's also human nature for people to try to skirt by until somebody really makes us think about something. You know, like outside of this school fiasco and all that jazz, even in like relationships and at work, people aren't gonna do the bare minimum until somebody causes a scene and say, all right, we'll put better coffee in the break room. Jeez. You know, like, I feel like this might be the beginning of a little change if we can't afford too many more of these sickouts. So eventually somebody's going to say, okay, look, let's come to the table and let's see what we can come up with.
Let's hope that they do that, because you have to look at who's in charge.
But how many days will they be no school? I mean, to the point where kids are going to have to repeat the grade next year?
What's just going to happen is it's going to have to go over into summer school. But whose fault is that? Because it's the same issues with what you have with the potholes in the street. If you put a Band-Aid over it, and you be like, oh, well, we're going to use this cheap shit to fix it. Don't worry about filling the holes. But then it's a bigger hole next year because the cheap shit just ate away at the good shit that was down. Exactly. When you just put a Band-Aid over and say, oh, well, you know what? Here, just to shut you up, to pacify you, and you don't really fix the problem. You're not addressing the real issue. It's just gonna get worse. So what's gonna happen is, if they don't address it, because the type of people that we have in office right now, they really don't care about the Detroit public school system. It's been proven.
Shout out to Snyder.
Hello. Mm-hmm. It's been proven that they don't really care. So
let's not bring up the Flint fiasco.
Hello. They just don't care.
They don't care.
Especially when you got...
Excuse the dramatics.
When you have poor brown people, because that's who's really being affected by it.
Minorities, yes. Absolutely.
It's minorities. It's marginalized people that, we've been corralled into this one little area. This is what we have access to, so this is all we can utilize. So what's going to happen is the children are going to end up going to school in the summertime.
You know what? It also as well could be another phase 2 to the gentrification process. Like, my conspiracy theory brain light bulb just kicked in. But what better thing that they probably think will happen is for all the parents to say, we're going to move to Warren, we're going to move to Southfield, we're going to move to Walled Lake, we're going to move all these places while everybody else comes down into the city, and now we're ready to fix the schools. Now they're worthy. Now they're worthy of our dollars, because you actually have dollars that will be put to good use, because that's how they feel. And let's grow from here.
But let's talk about
all the dead weight.
How that's hurting our children, because when they go out to the Walled Lakes and the Bloomfields and because they
really don't even want them out there.
No, it's not just that. But those are public schools. But my sister went to public school in Walled Lake. My little cousin goes to public school in Walled Lake. Now you have to pay to play there.
Yeah.
So everything you have to take the art class, but you also have to pay the $265 for your art supplies.
Oh my goodness.
So you have to do extracurricular activity, but
that's $125.
Right, but you have to pay for the uniform, the tools, so it just so happens we are in a position where we can pay for that. But what about all these children who are relying on a public school system?
Absolutely.
So those are public schools, but they're privately funded. When you have the parents paying for the shit, that's private funding.
Absolutely.
So
it's a whole nother beast. You know, you're not gonna ever find a perfect situation, but they definitely probably don't even know that. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna make all these moves and transitions and all that, thinking like, okay, this is the move I need to make to better the situation for my kids, because I gotta do what I gotta do, because that's my responsibility as a parent. But then it's gonna be a whole nother beast, because you're low income and.
But what about the parents who can't afford that though?
That's what I'm saying.
I'm saying that can't even afford the move.
Yeah.
Like I can't. Like it's impossible for me to pick up and move anything. Mm-hmm. What about them? They're just stuck.
Well, then. Their plan is working, because then the kid's gonna say, "F this! I'm not going to class today. Who wants to sit in?
Cold.
It's cold.
I'm gonna go to work.
It's hot, or my teacher ain't gonna be there anyway.
It ain't no teachers there.
That's what I'm saying.
It's 5 teachers in the whole school.
In the whole school, we just gonna have class in the auditorium. We just gonna have a big old class.
They do
in
have
the auditorium
in that one school,
like bio.
In the gym.
What? We'll get to the nitty-gritty of that when we come back from the break. This is MSK Detroit Talk Radio live on urbannationradio.com. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back.